Hey guys, today we're reviewing the Karatake Gansai Tambi Starry Colors watercolor set. In this review, we're going to talk about how to use them, how they go onto the paper, what kind of coverage you get with them, and all sorts of other details before you spend your hard-earned money buying them. Right off the bat, I also want to say that this is a completely honest review. I am not sponsored in any way. I bought the paints from Amazon with my own money, so this is just my honest opinion of these paints. So this is the set of Gansai Tambi metallic watercolors. This one is the Starry Colors set, which is all different tones of gold. They do have two other metallic sets that are very similar with 6 colors in each. I think they have an opal one, a gem colors one, and a pearl colors one, which is sort of like pastels. In this set, we've got 6 different kinds of gold. Now, mine came all labeled in Japanese, so I did have to look them up to find out what was what, but it wasn't a problem to find which color is which online. From left to right, they are blue gold, red gold, yellow gold, champagne gold, light gold, and white gold. As with most Japanese watercolors, the pan sizes are quite a bit bigger than regular North American watercolors. They are about 1 inch by 2 inch, so it gives you lots of paint per pan. Compared to regular watercolors, the Gansai Tambi ones take a little bit more time to mix in with the water. So I dropped a couple of drops of water into each color while I was preparing my paper, and that way it gave it time to kind of soak into the paint and make that really creamy texture that we want for painting. When I first got these, I was really curious to find out what kind of coverage I would get from them. I've never used metallic watercolors before, this is my first set, so I wasn't 100% sure what to expect, but I was pleasantly surprised. They are really nice. So after a couple of minutes, the water had really started to soak into the paint, and I was ready to start mixing it up and doing the swatches. The texture of these is definitely a lot thicker than regular watercolor. I think they have some different binders in them. Regular watercolor is just gum arabic, and I think these do have some other stuff, but I couldn't find the exact list of ingredients. But you feel a difference for sure when you're mixing them up. They're more like the texture of a thin acrylic craft paint. They're much thicker, much creamier than regular watercolor. There's definitely a bit of a learning curve as to how much water to mix into the paints. You have the option to add lots of water and have them be very transparent, or add just a little bit of water and have them be much thicker. So that's a good thing, I think, depending on what you want to do with them. As I started to paint with these, I started to really like them and start thinking of all of the different things I could do with them. They look really nice on the white paper, but they don't show up quite as strong on a light background. But on the dark blue and the black, they look stunning. They're really, really nice, and they cover really well. Unlike regular watercolor, they also dry with a really shiny finish, which is nice. And I guess is what you would expect from gold paint, right? But regular watercolor is very matte. These have a really shiny finish. Once they dried, they were also really durable. I tried rubbing them off with my fingers and trying to get the color to come off a little bit, and it just doesn't. It stays on the page, which is great. You can use them for card making and things that are going to be touched a lot because you don't have to worry about the color rubbing off. As I said before, this is my first set of metallic watercolors, so I don't have a lot to compare them to, but I watched some other reviews and people said that they are quite similar to the Finetec metallic watercolors. I'm going to order some of those soon and I'll let you know when I get them, but according to other reviewers on YouTube, they are quite similar to Finetec. The Karatake version is about half the price though, so they're probably good if you want the Finetec ones but don't really want to spend the money. I think these would be really great for accenting existing watercolor paintings, just a little bit here and there to add a little bit of sparkle. They kind of liven up the paper. I did experiment a bit with a practice painting. I did some vibrant blue leaves, kind of the same color as the middle cardstock that I'm painting on here. And I used the red gold paint with that, and it looked really, really nice. The painting didn't turn out so great, but the colors looked great. So I can really see the gold adding a lot to existing paintings. The other place where I think this would be really nice is in Christmas stuff. So like if you're hand painting Christmas cards or gift tags and stuff like that. The hit of gold on those pieces would make it look just that much more special. Another place to use this gold paint is in lettering or calligraphy. I actually saw some other people on YouTube load the paint into a calligraphy pen and use it to do lettering that way, which is a neat idea, and it turned out quite nice. I will say for me personally, I found them a little bit difficult to get a super fine line with a really small paintbrush, but I do think that's something that you would get over as you use them. It's just that the thickness of these paints makes them a little bit different to apply than regular watercolor. I wanted to really put these paints to the test, so I did a few other experiments with them. I tried using them over top of other types of paint. So I tried them over top of watercolor, over top of gouache, and over top of acrylic. And they did work and show up really well over all three different types of paint. One thing I will say is that on the gouache and watercolor, because they're water-based and you can work them even after they're dried, pulling the metallic paint through them caused it to mix with the layer underneath it a bit. So it doesn't go on quite as cleanly. Over top of acrylic, once the acrylic is dry, that's it. You're not going to work with it again. So it worked best over top of the acrylic, but it's definitely something that you can use over watercolor and gouache as well. I also tried mixing the metallic paint with a little bit of watercolor pigment to make some different colors, and that worked really well too. I had done it with blue paint, and then my son walked in and said, "Ooh, you should make rose gold." So I thought, yeah, I should. And I mixed it with a little tiny bit of red, and it worked. It looks like a pink gold, which is nice. So you do have the option to mix in your own colors with these as well, which is kind of cool. In terms of storing these paints, the packaging that they come in is just a cardboard box, sort of like what you would get makeup in. They're not in a tin case or anything. You could move them into one if you wanted to, but you can also just store them as is. They're not going to be ruined by having exposure to air or anything like that. Even after I've used mine for a few weeks, they're not cracking. They're still in good shape. So I think you can just store them as they are if you want, or of course you can move them into a different container. So overall, would I buy these Kuretake Starry Colors watercolors again? Yes, I think I would. They're super pretty, they're easy to use, and they're affordably priced at around $15. I can see myself using them a lot. If you found this review helpful, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and leave any questions that I didn't answer in the comments below. If you want to see that blue and gold painting I did with these paints, click or tap on the video on your screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time!